Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. I went kind of crazy in that One Piece review. That shit was just, whoo! Right over my head. Okay, fairy tale. Let everyone know that after this review, next week, canon. That's right. Next week, we go back to canon. Next week is going to be called, the episode is going to be called Sabertooth. Now, this was pretty much the final episode of this filler. Pretty much what happened, really, the only things you need really that more or less happened in this chapter, this episode was, we had, Lucy, she was in the clock, and she saw Michelle as a doll, and we see all the different memories she's had of when she was with her father and mother, and they gave her that doll, and named her Michelle, and the whole bit. And we're basically going back and forth between that and Natsu's fight with Midnight. And apparently, during this fight, Romeo and Elfman want to help, but they can't because of that stupid stick. Fucking stupid idiot. And they are fighting him. And then fight goes back and forth between Natsu and Midnight. And, really, Lucy's just going through the emotions, and she's going through all these different things, the memories as she's in the clock. And just had this big-time connection with Michelle as a doll. And there's a scene where, I think it was Jude, Lucy's father, told Michelle's a doll, maybe one time when she returns, you can consider yourself as her little sister. Then we just get the statistics of when Michelle was waiting in the room in the house, in the mansion, and Midnight was the one who came to her and turned her into Imitatia, and even though she was using Uncle, she called him, she felt sad that he died and the whole bit and everything. Then we go back, there's a lot of interesting things that happen in this episode, but basically they go to the thing with Cobra, because he's fallen down and everything, and so on and so forth. And what happens is, during the fight between Natsu and Midnight, it's going back and forth, and they're exchanging blows. Midnight, I found interesting was that he had the same moves as his father did. Same moves as Brain. More or less identical. In fact, identical. He uses that move that Brain used against Natsu during the Nirvana arc. And that one with that purple shit coming out of nowhere, and it's supposed to erase you, trap you into darkness. Well, pretty much that's what happened. So Natsu was trapped into darkness, while Lucy was trapped in time. Give or take. But what ended up happening was Michelle was there with her and says, "Don't you hear all the voices of the people that love you?" And Lucy ended up using, this I found pretty fucking cool, the part of this episode. Lucy ended up using the power of Real Nightmare to turn the tables on Midnight. Yeah! That was awesome. It was actually, she showed him, because I think a lot of people were in the Tower of Heaven. He shows Midnight when he was in the Tower of Heaven and everything, and it just, turned the tables on him. That unfortunately would have come back and bite Lucy, because she did that, she kind of merged fully with the Infinity Clock. But it was enough to get Natsu out of the darkness, come out, and start going blow for blow with Midnight. And eventually what happens is, takes out Midnight. And sends him back. Boom. He's saying, how, you're... Yeah, Natsu said the same thing. Oh, power of feelings! Oh! Enough with the power of feelings! Come on, man! Enough! No more! But anyway... And he was just basically saying how, you're the way you do about things with it, you were very twisted, and you tried to sacrifice the thing with your father and everything. And he sends, like I said, he sent Midnight packing. Now, fortunately, she's merged with the Infinity Clock, and the Infinity Clock's just a freaking fish. So she's like, "No, food for happy." And Warren, the guy who does talk to people with his mind, he tells Natsu and the others, and he just got a message from the guild from that Gene guy, the archaeologist, and they said to them, the only other way to get Lucy back is if they were to disassemble the clock. And in order to disassemble the clock, what they would need to do is they would need to actually awaken the people that have been petrified. The celestial wizards that have been petrified and sleep for 100 years. Wake them up. And that will disassemble the clock because it'll reconnect the bio link. So they end up doing that. Lucy ends up doing that. And more or less destroys the clock. And with help from Michelle, of course. And while she's doing that, we get a scene with, like I said, with Cobra. Finally meets the girl who was his snake. And what ends on happening is there's a connection between the two, and then Cobra realizes, but then Dobalt and Lahar showed up and accuse him for being part of the Six Generals, and you're going to come with us, going to be, going back to prison and stuff. And she starts to transform as a snake. That girl who was a snake. And he tells them, oh, she's nobody. And he basically is going willingly and saying, oh, being close to a friend gives you a calm feeling. So he already knew that was his snake and everything, and that was settled. Here we have, the stick. He's trying to run away, and I think it was the person from the book of Key of Starry Nights. She steals him. It was amazing. What ends on happening though then is Natsu gets on the octopus that Bairo had. And Chia-san's on there, and Urza's there, and everyone's there, right? And Natsu's smelling, and he knows where Lucy is, so he tells the octopus to go in that direction. Chia-san does it, and it's so funny that the way this episode ended was, if you ever saw the very first opening of this series, the opening of the very first, when this filler started, that's the ending, where she's falling from the sky. And that's basically what she did. And Natsu just jumped out and catched her, and that's how it ended. More or less. And she's just saying how the tale, of the end of the Infinity Clock. And we get this interesting scene with Michelle on the pedestal and saying, Mama, Papa, and Michelle, But, it was a good end to the filler. I like this filler. I thought it was very similar to what was going on in the manga. I thought this whole twist on the Infinity Clock and all these interesting things that were going on was very interesting, and I really enjoyed it. Now, next week, Sabretooth. What's weird though about next week's episode is Friday is that it seems like we're going to get the conclusion of this filler, and then we're going to be introduced to where like Natsu, I think Happy, or I think Romeo is going to tell Natsu about Sabretooth, and we're going to see Rogan Sting. Rogan looks pretty good. I like him animated. Sting, I had a feeling was going to have blonde hair, so this should be interesting. Now, as far as this episode is concerned, rating, I'll give it a 3.5. It was okay. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Not spectacular. Give it that. I mean, Lucy crying, you know. The only question I'm trying to figure out is see, she would have disappeared forever, Lucy, in this filler, the way it looked like. The real question is, what's going to happen if she's sacrificed for the Eclipse plan? Very intriguing stuff. But I digress. We shall see. The canon, I'm wondering how they're going to animate several things moving forward with this canon. We got Sabretooth, we got Rogue, we got Sting. But I'm wondering, how are they going to animate Raventail? That's what I'm waiting for. Flair and, Marrow Pudding, all those guys. Like, freaking... I mean, we've seen, Ivan once in the anime, but now it's 7 years later, and now he's going to be different looking. Should be interesting. Should be very interesting, to say the least. But, yeah, that's all I got for you guys. This was a good episode. Good end to the filler. I mean, I like the filler. I know a lot of people don't like filler. I like this filler. It was very similar to what was going on currently in the manga with the Eclipse plan. So, that's why I really enjoyed this. But, what did you guys think? Comments below. And are you really excited now that we're going past this point? Now, finally, we can get back to Sabretooth. We can get 2 into the tournament. And hopefully it's animated good because, man, you know how it was... it was one of those things where you say, this isn't very good. So, yeah, should be interesting. But, yeah, we'll see. I see some good things happening with moving forward with Sabretooth and everything that's been going on. Animated. Should be interesting. Hopefully they do it justice. Because the manga surely, kind of didn't do it justice. But we should see. But yeah, I really, and like I said, I really enjoyed this filler. I really, really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I like how they went about it. So yeah. The only thing I didn't like was that retarded dinosaur Gatterman and Rupture Magic. Go back to the Stone Age. It's been Bankai Toy 2. I will see you guys later, and next week, back to the canon. Sabretooth. Should be good.